So again, good evening, everybody. Welcome to tonight's guest presenter business webinar. Hi, Eugene. How are you?
Hi, Jay. Good. How are you?
I'm pretty good, mate. So I know we've just been chatting. We think there's a little bit of a delay between us, so just be aware of that, guys, when we ask the questions. And did I get your name right?
Yes, you did, Jay. Very well done.
Excellent. Nagawiecki. Let's make sure I remember it for all the future ones. Eugene, just before we hand over the screen, I've had a sneaky peek at the presentation, so I know you've got some great top tips for the people joining us tonight. Eugene, just give us a little bit of a background of how you've ended up who you are and what you actually do for nPhoto.
Okay, certainly, Jay. Yes, well, I work at nPhoto as in the marketing team. It's just something I love to do. I provide a lot of content for our website on our blog site at blog.nphoto.com. I also partake in some video series, our nPhoto Pro Tip series. You'll see me doing interviews as well and coming out with even some longer films and things like that. So be sure to check us out with more content coming all the time. I love marketing and learning about psychology, how to reach people, how to talk to people, communicate with people, and all that kind of stuff. So it was kind of a natural fit, and I love it here.
So for those that are familiar with nPhoto, obviously nPhoto being based, well, they might not be familiar, being based in Poland. When I first obviously started talking to you via email, I just presumed you were Polish, but you're Polish, but you're also American. Is that right?
Yes, that is true. I actually am American, like through and through. I have a Polish surname, which is kind of what led to me coming here originally to retrace my ancestry. But I'm fourth generation, so I'm certainly American in every sense of the word. So yeah.
Excellent. Right, look, we won't waste any time because I know you've got a great presentation ready for people. So I'm going to hand you the screen, Eugene. So it's coming over, and if you just remember that you choose to be the presenter and you share your screen, and then I'll let you know that I can see everything clearly. And just a reminder, everybody, that obviously, as I said, we want you to interact with Eugene and I tonight. So please, any questions you have for him through the question panel, I'll ask those where appropriate, and obviously pass those through where appropriate. Can I just check? Obviously, me and Eugene are hearing each other clearly. One person seems to be having maybe a little bit of audio issue. Can you hear us all nice and clear? If you could just put a yes in the chat panel, that'd be brilliant. In the question panel, yeah, we've got an all good here. Brilliant. That's okay. Eugene, I can see your screen nice and clear, so I'm going to go quiet. But please feel free to let me know if you want, any questions, and I'll chip in if I need to. And it's all yours, my friend.
All right. Well, thank you again, Jay, and hello, everybody. Yes, I'm coming to you from Poland. It's getting a little bit late. But like Jay says, let's kind of get right into this. Today, as you kind of see on the screen, on my screen, I'm going to talk to us a little bit about folio boxes. Jay and Mark put out a great webinar the other day about albums and things like this. So I thought we'd look a little bit at folio boxes, but of course also kind of some ways to help sell folio boxes, but actually kind of just selling things in general. A lot of the sales tips are going to be for selling any kind of really product. And since we're just kind of also talking about folio boxes, I thought we'll attach it to that. So folio boxes, why to have them and how to sell them. And the reason, one of the reasons for this, hold on, why is this? Here we go. Presentation for this topic for me is I believe that too often as professional photographers, when you get to that point where you say, yes, I need to offer some print products, we think too much about the books. And we tend to not look beyond that, especially in certain genres of photography. I won't get too specific, but there are some genres where maybe they're sticking too much to a book because that was very much what was the traditional print product for sustaining a business, in the past. But nowadays, we have all these different kinds of interesting and exciting products coming out, specifically this one, the folio box. So I want us to take a step back and kind of think outside the books. We're kind of heading into a new year. Maybe this can be our new motto for the next coming year. Think outside the books and instead go into the box. And now why is this? Here we see a beautiful image of a folio box with a nice picture from one of photographers who partners with us, Elizabeth Lee. It's a senior photo. But why is the question we have to ask again. Why are we going to be interested in offering folio boxes? Why this over, say, an album or including it at all? Because it doesn't have to be over it, and we'll get to more of that in a minute. It doesn't have to be instead of anything. But just in general, why should we be interested in incorporating this product into our offer? Or why should we try to bring attention to it to our clientele? The answer is because this is actually a very modern, flexible, and stylish product. It's modern, it's flexible, and it has style. Again, the Folio box I like to call the 21st century photo album, as we're going to get to that in a second as well. Photo albums, again, are great products, but they tend to be the more traditional product and have that connotation of old-fashioned and cumbersome and clunky and things like this. So they're not so modern. And again, flexible, that can kind of lead into the flexible side of it as well. A photo album or a book, a photo book, you know, it's bound together, which is one advantage of it in some cases, but in other cases, then that's all you have. It's bound together in the book. It's not going to go anywhere. You can't take it apart. You can't share it easily with a group of people. It's just stuck there in the book. And again, all together, the style and the design of a folio box is something that is very sleek and very attractive to really anybody, but certainly the clientele that we are seeing nowadays. We'll come back to that in a second, because that's a big part of all this, is we need to kind of know our clients. And in quotes, I say generally speaking, because you should also have different profiles and ideas of who your clients, your ideal clients are, who you're targeting kind of specifically. But for this, I'm just going to be talking about in a general sense. You know, those other more details is something that would be better for you to talk about with Mark and Jay and the people there, and I'm sure they're doing a great job doing that with you. So just generally speaking, though, we are at that time now where this certain generation is kind of dominating the marketplace and the purchasing sphere. I'm sure you've heard this before. I'm sure we're all familiar with this term by now, generally in a derogatory fashion, unfortunately. This, of course, is the millennial generation, or Generation Y. So people born between 1980 and 2000. And yes, I actually fall into this genre, or to this group of people. But these are the people coming of age, especially if you're a wedding photographer or somebody who targets newborn and maternity photography. This is that age group that's really getting into that part of their life now, getting married, finally settling down and having a kid or two, getting into the family portraiture aspect of photography, of course, boudoir as well, if they're interested in getting married, things like this. So we have to really know who it is that we're trying to address so that we can be able to address them appropriately, which of course is going to go into the sales process, which we will get into a little bit later on. And so just some things that you can pick up on from these people in the millennial generation. Again, some very general characteristics. Of course, nobody likes to generalize or to stereotype, but these are some general findings that can be found and can be said about this generation. They are one that is focused kind of more on saving, and I'm going to go to the next slide here. And this is actually a depiction, a graph showing the dramatic shift in the amount of money that this millennial generation has. Now, as you'll see, this is for the American market. I apologize, but I believe this can be a similar trend, generally speaking, throughout Europe and the Western world as well. Everybody was affected in that region with the economic crisis in 2008 and such like that as well. So as you see, the purchasing power is going much, much further down as we get older and older into the years of the people being born. So this is something that we have to keep in mind as well. Not only might they not be interested in the highest price item, but they might not be comfortable with it, and they might be timid to even start any conversations about anything that they worry might be a little bit too expensive. So this is something that we have to keep in mind. Now, one thing I will note, though, is sometimes we do get, specifically with this focus on saving, that is definitely true from a general perspective, but sometimes you will get people from this generation who do like to spend, who spend quite a bit. So there again, it comes back to being to the more detailed, personalized research of your client base and your clientele. Because sometimes you can get some who will spend and who want to spend. Because there also is, to this next point, the fear of missing out amongst this cohort of people. It's a very real anxiety that a lot of people have of not wanting to miss out on anything, of being able to experience what others are experiencing. This generation is a very social generation. It's one that's very in touch, of course, with social media and very much aware of how to share experiences and things like this. So there's always that fear of missing out. So again, how can you use that to your advantage later on when you are trying to approach these, or keep that in mind, that sensitivity, again, to be careful not to go too far and say something that maybe you shouldn't in that, just be sensitive to that, but also maybe try to play with it as well in the sales process. But again, this as everybody is hearing about nowadays, especially this generation is concerned about the environment. They're kind of leading that evangelical environmental movement. So that's another thing to keep in mind. And again, another reason why some of the bigger, more cumbersome, more hefty traditional print products may not be so attractive to them, because that might be some of the first concerns that they have. Okay, well, what does this do for the environment? This can let you know to, maybe steer clear from any kind of natural leathers and things like this. And we'll talk about that more a little in the selling process too. Of course, being sure to communicate with your own clients. It's never good to assume. But again, going into it, you can know what to kind of expect in approaching this generation, because they are the ones who you will probably most likely be running into. Now, also, they value experience over things, and they value very much participation. Again, they don't want to miss out. We go back to that second point. So they want to participate, and they're valuing experience over things. And I know at first you're thinking, oh no, they're not going to want to buy anything from me, but this is actually working in your favor, because also what you are all always hearing is to provide an experience. And of course, I'm even going to say that as well a little bit later. And it's easy to play up how an album, a printed product, a folio box, as we're talking about today, can enhance an experience and save an experience, so that it is something that can be relived over and over again, so that you are certain not to miss out on it. Because if you have a print product from an experience, then you'll be able to relive it again and again. And again, as we see here, they're emotionally connected. They appreciate interaction here again too. So kind of perhaps looking forward to when I will talk a little bit about the sales aspect, is really get involved with these clients and really make it a personal, face-to-face, kind of in-person experience that you have with them. Steer clear from that old-fashioned, product sales where you're just trying to push something down their throat or do something from distance. Really make an effort to get to know them, to try to meet them, and to provide them with an experience anytime that you do end up meeting with them. Of course, as we all know, they're social media crazy and very savvy with social media. So things that they're going to be interested in tend to be things that are going to be very Instagrammable, to make up a word for everybody, or as you see, sexy on Facebook. And they're also trendsetters. So to put those two together, again, are they going to be interested in things that are seen as more traditional, as more old-fashioned, as more the backbone? Or do they want kind of that new thing? Do they want the cutting edge? Do they want something that is going to be easily accessible and easily displayed on social media and in an environment that they're familiar with? So these are all things that we have to consider. How does this affect any type of product that you might want to offer them? And how does all this knowledge affect how you might approach the clientele that you are going to target? So this is things that we should keep in mind as we go forward and we discuss more about the folio box. Here again was just the slide about the declining income. Now, the folio box is a 21st century photo album, as you heard me say a few minutes ago, and I really believe this. Yeah, how's that for gusto? I'm coining that phrase. It's really kind of remarkable. To be quite honest, I remember still when we introduced this product from to our offering, and it wasn't very long ago, and immediately it became one of our most popular products, and to this day it continues to be one of the most asked about products, one of the most purchased products, one of the most exciting products and viewed products when we go to trade shows and things like this. People just love, and by people we mean the professional photographers, just love this product. And so either they just love it for their own self, or they love it because their clients love it. And I think it's a little bit of both. And I really see with a lot of the factors that I just discussed in the last slide, that it's kind of reflecting the shifting of society and just the desire of the clients that are coming out of this new society. So pay attention to the folio boxes. I really believe it is going to become this generation's photo album. It's going to be this product that everybody remembers, talks about, wants to have, and is what is going to present their family and things like this. And here is an example of just what it can look like, a display of different prints from the folio box. Apologies if some of these images are not so good, and if this presentation isn't so visually appealing. I am not a guru with making presentations. So for any of you graphic designers and very visually gifted people out there, I apologize if I'm offending you with this. But here we go again. Again, some of the advantages of such a product like this. Despite all of this, it's a very elegant and it's a very high quality product that is not available anywhere else. And what I mean by that is you cannot go to a local store if you're just an average client. You're not going to be able to go to your local store and get something like a folio box, or to a big mega store, or even to kind of a quote unquote cheap photographer and get something like that. It's a high quality product in terms of quality and elegance, on par with anything else that is only available through people like yourselves, a professional, high quality professional photographer. And then of course the nature of the product, having the loose prints, this is mirroring again kind of society and what people are asking for and really liking in this day and age. Is something that in itself is flexible, it's very easily shared in a group, it's something that can be displayed then and shifted around. It's not so stagnant, it's not so cumbersome. And just because they're prints, that doesn't mean that they are very limited. A lot of times when you have a product that is a print, like a literal print product, a thing like a wall art or something like that, it forces somebody to have to make a lot of decisions because you have a huge shoot and you have to narrow it down to say 3 or 4 images just to, because the product is basically one image per the product. Whereas a folio box, it gives you the opportunity to share many images with your clients, which will make them happy too, because they don't want to have to make that hard decision and go through a long, rigorous viewing session where they have to take a shoot of even 100 photos and narrow it down to 2 or 3. Here then you can sit them down and you can take, I don't know, a viewing session of 40 images and they can just cut it in half, or however you go about doing that. It makes it much less daunting, much less stressful, and much less of a negative experience for the client who is ultimately buying everything. They're a lower cost, again, in comparison to a photo album or some of these more higher end premium products. Even though they're still a lower cost, which again, going back to our profile, for most people nowadays, is going to be, well, let's face it, for everybody, is going to be a very welcome thing to not have to pay so much. Or that's good news for you as a professional photographer, because it can allow you more room to work with when you are, pricing the product. Again, we're not gonna get into pricing. That's not what we're talking about. But just naturally, generally speaking, if you can get something for a cheaper price, that means that you have the chance, and it's a good quality product. That means you have the chance to earn a little more profit from it. So that's good news all around for your client as well as for yourself. It's a very engaging, just by nature, the product is a very engaging product. It's welcoming, it's inviting people to pick it up, to explore it. And again, even more so than an album or a book where you just pick it up and kind of passively, flip through the pages. And I'm not on the camera, but I'm just kind of slowly making the motion of turning pages. But with a folio box, you take the images out, you view the one print at a time. You might even turn it over just to see what's on the back. You take time to view each individual print. Again, it's almost asking for you to have a group so you can take it, pull it out, look at one and pass it along to the next person that you're with and just kind of have it go around. So it's a very engaging, of course, you're touching it all the time. You might want to touch the box before you open it. You're going to touch a ribbon or something just to get the images out of the box and then putting it all back in, closing it. If you have some kind of even a velvet or a suede textile on there, they're going to probably just be rubbing the textile when they're opening and closing the box itself. That's going to be fun for them. And that is huge, as we might get into a little later even, that moment of the client interacting and touching and feeling and maybe even smelling, that is music to your ears from a sales perspective, because the more they touch it and the more they engage with it, the more attached they become to it. And it's going to be much easier to make a sale for you and much harder for them to turn it down then. So having products that are very engaging and open to a very tactile and sensory experience are very good from a sales perspective. And also when it comes to engaging, they just are always on display, which is something that I would discuss as well. Again, whereas an album, you can easily close it and put it on the shelf, and it can be, or a book again is very similar. You can put it on the shelf and it can just kind of almost be forgotten. Whereas with a folio box, if you'd like to, you can leave the prints on display all the time. So there you go. There again, it's something that is easily and almost constantly being engaged with. Again, these are easy to share. If you're in groups, they can be displayed, but you can also safely store them. I just talked about how you can display the prints around your home if you'd like to, kind of all the time, but you can also put them away. So, for example, if you're grandparents or something and you keep them out normally, but your 2-year-old grandson's coming around, so you're a little worried. I have an 18-month-old at home, so I know what that's like. They like to touch everything. They climb everywhere. So that might be a good time to put them back in their box and put them somewhere safe. So even though they can be displayed, they don't always have to be, and they can be put somewhere safe and stylishly inside of a box. Of course, they can include a digital. If we go back to, again, the kind of the client profile for the millennial generation, of course, they're all very tech and social media savvy, so they're all wondering if they will have the ability to take the photos that you have provided with them and post them on Facebook or Instagram and things like that, so that when you can offer them something with a digital option, that will make them very happy. But again, it doesn't only have to be millennials as well. That's the way that many people nowadays are able to share photos and things like this. You know, I can speak personally, obviously, being an American living across the ocean. It tends to be the easiest way to share things and display things. So digital is something that sometimes might ruffle feathers of print photographers and product photographers, because they don't like to cannibalize the sale of the print product. But it's here, and it's best to embrace it and to use it to your advantage. And this is one example. And again, these products, they're appropriate for all genres. You could make a case, of course, for a photo book or a photo album as well, but it's a little more of a stretch. To be honest, for me, when I hear photo album, the first thought I have is wedding. And and as you kind of get further away from that very monumental, momentous occasion, it's harder for me to visualize the necessity of a photo album. And that's not, you know, I'm not trying to downplay albums, because that's our bread and butter here as well, and they are very important to the industry. But this, again, this product is a very flexible product, and it can be a perfect stand-in to give you the same quality, the same experience, but in a kind of more modern way, where it doesn't feel as cumbersome, where it doesn't feel like you have to block out the evening to enjoy it. You can just kind of pick it up on the go, or again, just walk past it on the shelf or on the mantle as it's displayed in your home. And of course, it's very modern and very trendy. Now, I put at the bottom 2 print formats available, so you have a choice in how you want even the prints to be produced for you. And I put that in this green font because that's something specific for us. I don't know. I'm sure it's similar for most other labs, but I don't know that. I'm trying to stay general, but if you work through us at nPhoto, we have 2 different formats that you can choose from. It has to be all or nothing with the 2 different formats, but you do get 2 different choices just to add to that variety of how you can offer from client to client such a product. So here again, and on purpose, I kind of included some of these pictures because we see here going back. This is again, this is an American image of senior photography, right? Which is a very big thing in America when they are seniors in high school. That's the last year they are in high school before their big occasion of going into college. Very big moment for people in America, and this is called their senior year of school. And it's become quite trendy to get really professionally done photos for that occasion. But the reason I included those is to show you how it is something that can be very welcoming for that generation, that younger generation, and it can really fit into that culture of social media, of snapshots, of prints, but also in a very elegant and sophisticated way, and make kind of everybody happy. It can make parents happy because they have what they feel is very high quality, but it can make the kids happy because they have something that they can relate to, that they might get that digital option as well. So it's really just a wonderful product that can satisfy many people all at once. So just to kind of summarize what we've gone through so far, these are high quality products that you cannot find in stores. It's best, of course, to base the bulk of your business around these types of products so that you're not constantly trying to have to compete with some of these big, cheap, Walmart, sorry, that's an American store, huge mega discount stores and things like that. Stick to offering these products that can only be found through people like yourself. And these are a perfect match for the relevant generation of the millennials kind of and beyond. Social media is not going anywhere. Our life seems to only be getting faster and faster. But again, even the parents of millennials can appreciate this kind of product because it is such a product with high integrity and things like this. As I mentioned before, it's a flexible kind of hybrid product. Almost, it can serve as a display product. You could even, if you really wanted to, make it into kind of a wall art. You can take the prints and frame them, or make a collage with some of the different prints that you will receive in the Folio box, and you can encourage your clients to do that as well. So it can almost serve as two roles, either just the typical product that you will read through when you have time, or something that you can always constantly have on display into something like a wall art effect. And as I mentioned before, comes to you, the photographer, at a lower cost that an album does, and then you can pay that forward to make it be a lower cost for your client as well, and or you can just get that much more of a profit, or however you work your prices. And kind of to help us transition to the sales aspect now, this is a perfect product to round out any kind of packages or bundles that you might be trying to create for your clients, and or just offer a different level in your product offer, as opposed to what would probably be the highest level, which is a luxury album. You can make the Folio box be a wonderful downselling option to hit up a different price range. And of course, like I said, you can always throw it into a package. You can put it in a Folio box with some wall art or something like this to really make an enticing collection of products for your client as well. And as I mentioned now, an excellent downsell alternative to albums. Now, as I'm transitioning, do we have any questions, Jay? How are things going?
Sorry, there's me typing away, answering a few questions, and forgot to hit my unmute button. So I was just answering you, and I thought, hang on a minute, he can't hear me. Excellent. We have got some questions, and they're really good ones, but I think they're more general, Eugene, to be honest. So what I'm probably going to do is probably hang on to them, to be honest, and I think we'll just round off with what I've got, if that's okay.
Okay, so I keep going, and we'll do questions so far at the end. Yes.
Okay, mate, no problem.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I think they're quite general, not specifically about what we've been talking about. I think they're more general. There's some sales advice, and there's a good chance you're probably going to maybe answer them now in this section. So I'll keep a listen, I'll keep a watch, and then we'll summarize with the questions at the end, mate.
Wonderful. So I'm going to forge on, and thank you, Jay. So personal hands-on sell. This is going to help us to transition into the next part of how to sell, of course, these Folio boxes. Now, these are two key terms here going forward: personal and hands-on, as we will see. Just a kind of a quick quote from a photographer. Now, this is from a photographer, professional photographer, just expressing how much she loves Folio boxes because of the fact that they can change them while they're on display. It's very practical, and that tactileness of being able to hold and see the images as opposed to them on a screen. Again, it's a good marriage of the kind of medium of a print, but also being very nice quality and not having to be subject to being seen on a computer screen. So how to sell them? Now, as I kind of mentioned at the beginning, at the very beginning of this presentation, a lot of this stuff a lot of what I'm about to talk about now in terms of selling, you can use in many different situations, even if you're going to be pushing, let's say, that's not the right word, but even if you're going to be focusing, maybe is a better word, on a different product, or if your clients is giving you hints to move a different direction. Because, of course, what we should do when we are selling is we should research, again, the clientele that we are targeting, and we should kind of be targeting clientele. And again, I'm not going to go into the very specific details. That's something else that you guys can discuss in this group. But you should go beyond what I was discussing before about just kind of a generation, and you should really kind of make some notes to yourself of who kind of your ideal client is, what they would look like, what kind of stuff they would be asking for, asking about, what even their hobbies. So, and that's the key of doing research and getting to know who it is that you're going to be talking to, so you're not walking into a completely unknown situation. And of course, to make your sales experience very personal. So don't assume, but instead ask. And that's what we're going to get to right now, is to ask questions and to ask reflective questions. And these are things like, what would you like? Or how do you envision this? So you're giving your client the chance to express themselves and to really let them know that, hey, I'm here for you. I'm not trying to push, like me, the photographer, I'm not trying to push any agenda or any product on you. I'm just trying to satisfy your needs, and I'm trying to figure out what those needs are. So also be asking things like what we see below that, qualifying questions. So things like, oh, so I remember you mentioned something like not having much wall space, or you told me that your kids can't sit still. So I'm curious why you're so interested in an album. Things like this, where again, you are giving back to your client things that they have told you in the past, to show your clients that you are listening to them, to show them that you are engaging with them, to show them that you are really looking out for their best interests. And the last example here too is the reason I'm asking this next question, okay, is that's priming them to know that I'm listening, and I just, my expertise is thinking this might not be the best decision, but let me ask you to make sure that we're all clear. So the way even that so to ask questions, but to make sure that you kind of frame them in a way that you are coming off as very helpful, very warm, and somebody who is really just there to help, not trying to push something down their throat. Of course, though, you should also provide insight for them. You are you are an expert to them. You are an authoritarian figure in terms of your knowledge and your expertise to them. So you should of course provide some insight and educate them a little bit on a lot of the things that they might not know. For example, a certain product, why it would fit a certain style of photography better, or if they should do landscape or portrait or something like this, or something about lighting. So do, I say to ask those reflective questions, but don't make that seem like you are not allowed to give any kind of opinion. No, they are still looking to you to be that expert and to kind of guide them in the process of looking through the products and finding what works best for them and what they really need. And be sure that you ask for feedback when you have finished your sessions with your clients. Maybe you, of course, don't do it in the moment, standing right there, but at some point in time, do follow up with them, ask for feedback and follow up and see how things are going. This, is most appropriate. The follow up is most appropriate for, of course, after the sale is all done and they have their product and everything. So just to check back in with them, make sure everything is fine, going well, and maybe that can turn into scheduling another appointment. And of course, again, providing solutions. So you provide insight and also solutions. So the things that you say need to be things that are going to be very helpful and answering a lot of questions and calming a lot of uncertainties and a lot of nerves that they have. And again, going back to the educating part of it as well. Always making sure that you are putting yourself there as an aid, as somebody to help them, guiding them into what you hear is the right direction, but the right direction that you gain from them because of the questions and the information you get from them. Okay, so that's kind of what's important to really remember here. Now, sales is a personalized process. This is from another photographer who we have sometimes cooperated with. So it's one that should be done completely naturally. It shouldn't be you buy this and then you have to buy this and then you buy that. So you shouldn't walk in to your sales consultations with your own predetermined plan. You can have a general idea of where you might want to take it, but if they're giving you information when you're asking your questions that lets you know that, okay, this might not be the best route for them. Instead, you just listen to what they're telling you. So take them through the personalized process to give them what they want. It's not about what you want to sell them, it's about what they want as a photographer. Because if you've done your pricing properly, as long as you sell something, that's going to be good for your business. Of course, everybody would love to sell the Lamborghini every time the client walks into the dealer. But if you price accordingly, even if they leave with the Peugeot, it's going to be good for your business. And it's certainly better than the frustrated client walking out, not buying anything, and maybe even giving you a bad reputation to all their friends in the process. So always remember that it's about what they want, not about what you want for them to have. But I think this is even, we could maybe put this even before the doing, and that is showing. I heard Mark say this too in the webinar about albums, and it is so absolutely true that you need to show your products to your clients early and often, no matter what products you want to sell. If you expect to sell them, you need to show them to your clients, and you need to show them early, you need to show them often. And this even means on websites. I can tell you, I used to be, I'm in marketing now. I used to be straight sales in this company. So it would be my job every day to go through websites from professional photographers. And I can't tell you how many photographers I came across who tried to sell printed products, but they didn't have any pictures of printed products or their work in printed products on their websites. You have to tell the people about them, show them, even digitally through the internet, because that's probably people's first interaction with you is on your website. So even there, especially there, or Facebook, Instagram, everywhere. So anything that you have, you need to show it on there. Show it with your work inside, of course. Even if you can, show people interacting with it, but show them printed products attached to your name, to your brand, so they can get into their minds that that's what they're going to get when they work with you. And then, of course, when you actually meet them, you want to show them the print products early and often. As soon as you meet them, show them the print products, talk about them, put them in their mind, and things like this. Because otherwise, they're simply not going to know. I was not involved in the photography industry very much before I started working in nPhoto. And I didn't appreciate what professional photo products was. And so I think that I'm pretty similar to how most people who are not in the industry are, where they're not going to understand when you say, oh, but this is a professional photo album, or this is a luxury album, or this is a professional folio box, a professional image box. They're not going to just understand those words. They're going to need to see it, they're going to need to feel it, and they're going to need to have that interaction and experience with it themselves. So let them touch and feel these products. Like I said a little earlier, this is a very profound moment for them, and it's a very effective moment in terms of selling and having a successful sale. In fact, there's some kind of psychological quirk. This is a proven fact that for some reason, whenever people touch something, they seem to take ownership of it. And I don't know about you, but once I take ownership of something, I don't want to give it back. Then it's mine. I'm very reluctant to be without it. So give your clients that opportunity to have something to touch, and have them be the ones to sit there and say, you know what, actually, I don't want this, because it's not going to be so easy once they touch it and interact with it, feel it, smell it even, things like this. Also, show your enthusiasm. Your emotions are contagious. And again, this is proven. I watched recently a wonderful TED talk from Vanessa Van Edwards. And the whole thing was her proving how your emotions are actually very contagious, even the bad ones. So be enthusiastic when you are showing your products to your clients, and let that feed off to them, because it will. There was another quote that I didn't put on here, but from another photographer, and she told me that clients feed off of your energy. When you get excited, they get excited. When you get lit, when you show a product and you're all excited about it, they turn around and they think to themselves, you know what, actually I do need this product. Like, you know, that's true. So be enthusiastic. Don't just put it in front of them with a stone face. Get enthusiastic about it. And it might be a good idea to focus on selling those things that you are most genuinely enthusiastic about. Because again, people are able to pick up on authenticity and things like that. You can get away with faking it every once in a while. So if you have some product you really think is perfect, but it's not necessarily your favorite, okay. But in general, you should be offering those products that you feel most excited about as well, because it is going to rub off on your clients, again, even in a negative way. So do yourself that favor. And also show your clients the benefits of why they need what it is that you are trying to show them. So again, the kind of the general response to this is going to be something you will have for generations. Okay, it's going to hold on to your memories for generations. It's something your children will be able to experience. It's something your grandchildren will be able to experience. By having this product, it's going to save, archive, and preserve, you know, those most special moments in your life for generations to come. And if there's some more specific benefit, then tell them, show them. That's what they need to know, and that's what they need to hear from you. And of course, show them the solutions. Generally, that's the big solution clients are looking for when they're looking for your service. Is they want high quality pictures, and they want them in things that are going to last. That's why they're coming to you, to capture those special moments that they're about to have, and to make sure that they last. So that is where picking the correct products come into play, and again, explaining to them that that is why you are showing them what you are showing them, because it's going to solve that problem that they have. Again, you just show them exclusive, good quality products, and they get it because they want it. This is from Ron Lima, a wedding photographer in the UK and also in Brazil. And it might sound too simple to be true, but try it, and you will be surprised at how true it actually is once they see it. Again, because most clients do not have much experience with professional photography, especially professional photography products. And so when you just discuss it with them, it's hard for them to imagine it. It's hard for them to picture it. In the other way, they probably even picture something very low quality, very strange. So it's hard for them to connect everything. So once you finally do show them exactly what you're talking about, they say, oh, wow, yeah, I actually do need this. This is unbelievable. So show them. It sometimes can be that simple. Now, selling again. So be patient too. Be authentic, be an active listener, a guide, a facilitating educator. So again, we're getting away from the pushy salesperson. Okay, we're getting away from walking in with your own agenda. Be patient with your clients. Understand that it's likely that they don't have much experience in this industry with these types of things. So it's going to take them time to really understand it all, to digest it all, to have that impact hit them. And so be sensitive and work with that and just accept it. One thing you can do when it comes to patience, which I know is talked about again frequently, in general, is do not overwhelm your clients by offering them too much. Okay, that will help in the patience aspect because there will be less that they have to try to digest. And again, there are numerous psychological studies done as well where if you have too much choice, it causes you to just give up and to get upset and to just move on. It's called decision fatigue. So if you have free time, I suggest you read up a little bit on decision fatigue and to not give your clients too much choice. But again, like I said before, be authentic. This is something that in any profession, in any circumstance, we as humans are pretty good at picking this up when you are or you are not being authentic. And it's always a turnoff when we realize that you are not being authentic. So make sure that you are being authentic. Make sure that what you are saying is stuff that you believe in. Make sure that, again, the products that you are trying to give them, you believe in, and you believe that they will solve the problems that they have and that they will be the best fit for them. Active listener too. Now again, so not only just hear them, but listen to them and actively listen to them. So going back to what we discussed a few slides ago about the types of questions you ask, you can ask them questions that show that you are listening to them, because we all like to be listened to, and the more that we are listened to, the better we feel and the more we trust and we respect the person that we are talking to. So the more you can portray that kind of environment, obviously, only is going to benefit you in the long run. And like I mentioned before, be a guide for these people in the sales process. This is likely all very new to them, or maybe it's their second or third time in a span of 10 years. So it's likely they've forgotten it. But especially if you're a wedding photographer, it's likely their first time experiencing something that you're offering. So you need to guide them, and you need to help them, and you need to do it in a way that's very simple for them, that makes sense to them, and shows them that it's going to solve what it is that they need solved. Which goes back again, of course, to being a facilitating educator. Make things easy for them while at the same time you are educating them. So again, don't just show them the product and disappear, or don't just or not say anything, or just pop it up out of nowhere. Read into the products that you show to people. Say, we were talking about this, so I'd like to show you this. Show them the product, let them experience it, and then continue by saying, and this product is going to help because, this is a folio box, so it's going to help you because you'll be able to view it very easily in large groups. You say you have a big family, you say they come around for the holidays often. Well, this I think would be the best solution, because then you can pass them around. People can look at them, at the same time, something like this. You don't have to huddle all over a small couch to view like you would an album. Use these kind of expressions, these kind of phrases to let them know that you're listening and to show them that you are solving one of the concerns and addressing one of the concerns that they have had in your dialogue. So again, selling is a lot about listening to the people. Actually, that's basically what it's mostly about nowadays, is listening to the people and letting them guide the process in terms of which product fits them best. But again, your client is not going to know they need print products unless you tell them they need print products. This was from an American photographer, Megan DiPiero. So as much as you might feel like I'm telling you not to be assertive, no, like I said, you still should be assertive. You are still the expert. You are still the one who knows the most. So everything that I'm saying is not trying to tell you that you shouldn't be assertive. And show them, let them know, but it's the way, this comes out very direct, but it's the way you communicate the message you see on the screen now. The way you communicate that message to your client makes all the difference in the world. And to not make it so obvious, like you need this because I tell you and I want to make some money, but to say you need this because it's actually going to solve the problems that you are explaining to me that you have. And it's going to bring you a lot of joy and happiness for you and your family and things like this. So again, it's having what is often called to that IPS model, in-person sales model, that also Mark was discussing a few weeks ago when he was talking about albums, and a consultative process where with the people, you are talking with them, you are listening to them, you are engaging with them face to face. That's what it is all about. And that, again, is something that you can do no matter what kind of products you like to sell and to offer in general. But of course, ultimately, let it be something that your customer is trying to guide you. Do not go, just because we're talking about folio boxes, don't go into next year saying, okay, today I'm going to sell a folio box. It might not happen. You might not run into the clients who are looking for something like that. So never start to think I have to sell exactly this. Let the client guide the way. If what they're telling you tells you that, yeah, actually they would need a folio box or they would need an album, so let it be. But to bring it all back together and to tie us back in with folio boxes specifically, again, these are by design kind of display and show pieces, and they are easy to show off and engage with. As we've just discussed, the more engagement that you can have with the product itself, the more attached people will come to it, they will take ownership of it, they will start to see the beauty of it more. So that, of course, is obviously a great thing. As we say, that's the next line here. The more touching, feeling, interacting, the better it leads to a more profound connection. Again, folio boxes are very highly interactive. But folio boxes are probably one of the best upselling in terms of flexibility. They are incredible upselling, cross-selling, and or downselling products. Now, an upsell is when you make somebody buy more than what they expected. Okay, so maybe it's something different. So you might sell an album, and then you upsell them to also get a wall art. Or you might sell an album, but then you might upsell them to get a folio box. Okay, that's an upsell. So they're paying more than what you expected, but they expected in something like this. Cross-selling is when you sell something instead of, but something that is very similar. So here again, maybe it's a similar price range, right? It's kind of the same tier, but it's something that you can also sell. And of course, where downselling is, you are going from a higher price product and you're making the sale to them for something that's actually a little less expensive. But again, even downselling is better than nothing. I know we're all kind of thinking like, oh, why do I want to downsell? Because that's better than nothing, and that is a frequent occurrence. Again, especially if you're presenting people with some of your more expensive products at the beginning, it's a good chance you're going to have to end up downselling and walking them down to something else. So if you start with something like an album, your full-blown luxury album, a folio box can be a great downsell because it is a lower cost, at least to you. So if you price it then lower than your album, but it is still of amazing quality. So it's a wonderful downsell where people won't really see any diminished value in terms of quality, but they will see that diminished price, and that will make them happy. So as again we've said over early and often, it's a lower investment for you as a photographer, and it can be a highly profitable one, and works into many packages. Now, another benefit from the photographer's perspective of using something like a folio box is it's less intensive in terms of design. In terms of design, you don't have to think about how to make a spread look amazing and all this, and what pictures to put together. It's it's a solitary image per each print, so it's a little less intensive in terms of designing for the photographer, which is always welcome. And if you, from the customer side of it too, you can make it work where you invite them in and they're going to be leaving with that product in their hand as they leave your studio, which is going to be very rewarding for them as well. So that's another benefit, kind of another more, again, modern take on a print product where they don't have to wait as long. It's kind of a more instantaneous thing, but again, not sacrificing any quality or anything like this. And of course, like I said, you can make the folio box the centerpiece or that go-to product for a package, or you can use it as an add-on or an upsell. They, of course, can make a great gift that your client might gift to their extended family or to their friends as well. And you have tremendous versatility in terms of how many prints that you will include in the boxing, the sizing. Of course, all this is going to play into the price of the product and ultimately what the client will have to pay. So if you are looking for just kind of something to use as an add-on, you don't have to get a huge folio box. You can get a smaller size. You can offer them with a lower amount of prints so that they can be priced on a much more manageable scale for your clients and things like this. Yes, so the modern, hands-on, easy sell folio box. And working the people who you are servicing appropriately and kind of to your advantage to satisfy their needs and to get the most out of it that you can and that your client can as well. And that's the folio box. And with that, I will open it up for any questions.
Well, I've got some questions for you, mate. It's no problem. Actually, quite a lot of them are related to nPhoto, which is a good thing. We've definitely stimulated their interest in you for those, and some that already know you and some that don't. That's a good thing. What was interesting for me is that, and I know obviously we've been nPhoto and the Academy and Experience Group. We've had a relationship for a while now. When we just a few things when we bring somebody on board here at the Academy or the Experience Group, it's because we love what they have, and not only that, it's because the price is right for not only for us, but also for the money that we can put on it for our customers. So everything that Eugene sort of shared tonight has been priceless, really. What we love, so from our point of view here at the Photographer Academy and the Experience Group, we have never stopped selling print product. We have, Mark Clegg on photography through to the Photographer Academy, through to the Experience Group now, and the way we teach business to our Experience Group members. It's about, as Eugene said, it's about the in-person sales, but it is about the print product. The digital product our digital product it might well be available, but it's still expensive. It's not deemed as a giveaway or a cheap option. And the Folio box, I think, is, as Eugene said, it was that natural, very natural, but also modern extension of the album, as he touched on. But when this product started to surface and got developed and to the level that it is today, you know, Mark and I just sort of, Mark and everybody here just opened our eyes and went, okay, this is something. We have always been huge believers in the print product. We have always been looking at the alternatives, as Eugene said, from the album, from the wall art. It definitely is a niche thing, and it can be a niche thing. It can work so well. I mean, just to give you some examples, sorry that I'm sort of adding to your presentation, Eugene, but I think it's really important. I mean, one of the tools that we saw with it, and you touched on it definitely. I mean, we don't have the prom market like the Americans do, but the actual, saying that we didn't, but in the UK, it's definitely getting bigger. It's definitely growing. And, you know, they're spending a lot of money on their proms now. So I can see exactly the appeal to the teenage market. Yeah, mum and dad are still going to pay for it, and mum and dad's probably still going to want that product for themselves as well. But you touched on a big one for us, is the likes of boudoir. You know, when we saw these sort of products coming available for our boudoir photographers, one of the biggest sellers we had for boudoir was an album, because some of it is quite personal and they want it. But the Folio box definitely took boudoir sales into a new direction. And the other thing, I don't know whether you touched on it, Eugene. I know you know that we talk about it, is so a lot of the studios, and we condone it and we definitely endorse it, is the likes of a memory box. So having the likes of a Folio box that can be added to can be sold really, really well in sort of maybe a continual package for your newborn and your baby photographers, even going right through to the families. So I think, and on top of that, you create a beautiful and stunning product at a very, very good price, Eugene. So, you know, I applaud you for that, mate. I really do. So I preached a little bit there as well, but I thought it was really important that, and the other thing that I just wanted to quickly say about something that we did for the Photographer Academy and the Experience Group is we're in a position where we can do focus groups with real customers. And we made some video, specifically, I think, for the Experience Group. I'm not sure we shared it with the Photographer Academy, but we went to 2 or 3 different women with a load of products, everything from wall art to you know, folio boxes and so on. But it was interesting how, and these were also our ideal customers. These were our perfect customers, good money, good jobs, good family sizes. And we put things in their hands, and we initially asked them how much they felt they would pay for it. And then we told them what we were charging for it. And it's amazing how on camera, at first they were going, oh, really? And in some instances, you know, they might have said £500 and we turned around and said 1,000. And you're thinking straight away, they're going to go, no, we don't want that. But you can see them go, yeah, okay, I'll pay that. And it was an incredible research for us as well, really. And it was interesting to see what they perceived it was, and then what we told them, the quality and the value, and then the amount, you know, around the photography. And it wasn't like, oh no, I can't afford it. Yeah, I'm having that. It was a real eye opener. Sorry, I thought I digressed, but I thought I wanted to share. Right, Eugene, your questions, because I know we've run over a little bit. So obviously people are aware that, and I made it clear at the beginning that you guys are based in Poland, but the lead time on products is really fast, isn't it?
Yeah, it's about 8 to 10 business days, 4 to 5 for production, and about 4 to 5 for shipping as well.
And even from our point of view, being based here since we've been working with you guys, you know, the turnaround has been as quick as we get from any of our UK suppliers. So, yeah, second to none on that side. But it did come up, so I wanted to ask it. Eugene, again, this is about you know, sort of guarantees and quality. What's nPhoto's belief around the quality of the product and maintaining the quality? It's of a high standard, right? But there's no quibble replacement.
Well, we will offer replacements on products that is obvious that it was an error on us, or if you send a picture and an explanation. You know, we guarantee basically a lifetime guarantee on the quality and the print aspect of the products. So if there's an issue where it's obviously like a printing error or construction error, then that's something that just send us the email, send us the picture, send us the situation. And yeah, we will address it, and 99.99 we'll take care of it.
And
So
and the
that's the way
durability
we.
of the quality, though, it's exceptional, isn't it?
Sorry.
The durability of the product is exceptional, isn't it?
Absolutely. Oh yes, absolutely. I mean, we have our products that we take with us to all of our shows in America, into UK, and they're still holding up. A lot of them have been being used for 3, 4, 5 years now, and they still look like they're brand new. Again, being shipped between America and Poland and the UK and Poland. So yes, these are really high quality, handcrafted products. Uh, that yeah, if you find or have any concern, just send us an email. Send if you get something and you're concerned about it, send us an email with your concern. You can send us some pictures, and we'll address those situations like on a one-to-one basis. But
Ah, of course.
I tell you, yeah, the samples that we have, they look like they're brand new, and they've been shipped around all over the place for years.
There's definitely been, and you mentioned it. I know you talked about obviously your experiences with the US and the millennials. We have seen a shift back to the print product over here. I mean, like I said, even though we've never stopped, as I said, teaching it or selling it, there definitely, there was a time where everybody was, yeah, we just want it on a USB and this, that, and the other, and they're not doing anything with it. And there's definitely a shift in the market where they want that product again, whether it be a box, whether it be an
Yeah.
album, whether they want to be a print on the wall. They definitely, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, for me, I've always printed my photo books. I've never done any, I've never wanted them on a USB. They're my images. I want to pick up my book off my shelf. I want to be able to share it. And this year, for my mum, who's 74, bless her, she turned around and she said, Jay, we've got all of these images now over the last few years of the grandchildren and the family, and they're all on sticks or discs. Would you please, if nothing else for Christmas, make me some photo books? And that's exactly what I've done. So and I know she's going to be absolutely thrilled come Christmas. And that's the key thing really, is that product is back. And as you said, and as we teach, it is education. It isn't a hard sell. It's leading them and just getting and having the right product, which is key as well. And I think you guys do a tremendous thing on that. Right, a few more questions, but we are nearly done, my friend. I'm not sure if this is a service.
Can I say something, Jay?
Yeah, of course you can. Yeah.
Okay, because that you were discussing like printing and kind of a lot of the millennials in the UK kind of going back to printing. I just wanted to say that this comes also back to the education and showing, again, even on your website, the fact that you offer print products. A lot of times nowadays it's the reverse, or you might hear of situations of the reverse where photographers want to sell print products, but they don't show them on their website. People come in and they come expecting digital. Whereas if you show print products on your website, you can potentially weed out those clients that are so stubborn about digital that you don't, have to. Because of course, that's the great thing about the Folio boxes, that you can naturally attach a USB with the print product or something like this. But there are those clients out there still who just are so adamant about digital. And of course, digital is not so friendly for a professional photographer from a business perspective, unless you price it so highly, which is usually out of the price range of the people asking about it in the first place. That hopefully, if you do yourself the favor and just put it everywhere on your website, social media, so that people know, they can't mistake the fact that if they come to you, they're going to get a print product. That might cause those stubborn people with digital who only really want to pay a very small amount to not even, and those aren't going to be the clients that you're going to want anyway. So you shouldn't feel ashamed, like bad if those people don't come your way, because they're not the people you would want to be going after anyway. And going back to kind of the millennials thing, is I completely agree with you too, though, because the millennials for me, it's an interesting, it's a strange cohort of people. I think more towards the older end spectrum, you see that, where they might be more into they might be those people asking for digital, but certainly the younger end of that generation, they want the print, and because also, like we said, they also value the experience, and that's where the print comes in, right? It's all about the experience with print products, and that is where that connection can come in, where even you have the people where you would think are going to be all about digital and social media and this, they might ask for the print because they want that experience and they appreciate what that print product is going to provide them, and that experience that they're going to have, and that's going to stay with them and their family or friends or whatever for generations to come. And it was my fault for not bringing it back to the UK when I was showing those senior pictures, because you're right, Jay, and I said it too, that isn't something in the UK. But like you said, there are many other avenues. You know, kids that age in the UK are still looking for pictures. There's sports photography. There's, you know, you still have school photography, school, you know, age photography in the UK, and that's just that age of people wanting to be seen and wanting to be seen in a trendy way and in a way that's going to provide real passion and experience. So, like we said, you can certainly have a lot of carryover with that.
Just on a completely sort of same note but sideline, I call her my stepdaughter. We're not married, but my partner's daughter. We have a few, but we've got a terrible teen, so she's just turned 13. Last Christmas, her request was for one of these Fuji Instamax cameras, you know, similar to Polaroid. Well, the amount of money that Mel and I have spent on buying the film cartridges for her this year have been phenomenal, but it hasn't been wasted. Well, you know, apart from it being expensive, but Dell has, I don't know how to describe it on a webinar, but she has, I guess you could call it like a clothesline with pegs, but she's using that to display these prints, and now she's actually putting together her own photo books with her prints. And you know, I actually said to her, you know, well, just, you know, you could buy a box. You know, it wasn't, you know, that I'm trying to not sell one of your products, but she's had these specific size prints, and she's 13, and these are absolutely are our you know, customers of the future. I appreciate that it's a few years time before she's our customer, but you know, the print is back. You know, teenager wants the print again, no, away from the digital, the retro thing. So there's definitely a change, and as well with the real adults. Right, but we're digressing a bit, but I thought that was important. Okay, so actually a few more questions about, you know, services from nPhoto. Actually, I'm not sure if this is a service that's available from you guys, but I think I heard it mentioned to you when you were over at the our experience convention. Can people get a test prints just to check the quality with you guys, Eugene?
They can get calibration prints, or the starter pack will include some.
That's what I meant. Yeah, perfect. Because a lot of the companies I know do that now, and like you said, calibration is so important, and it's something that we teach highly, as well as getting the calibration right for you guys. Brilliant. The discount, the Photographer Academy members discount, Eugene. I presume that's because our members are worldwide. Is that applicable worldwide?
You know, I don't want to say anything wrong.
Good question.
On record, so I would assume so, but let me double check and let you know.
Specifically, the question came for the US, so I know obviously you've got, you know, you do business in the US anyway, but if we could find out for me, I'd really appreciate that, and then we'll share.
Absolutely. It. Sure. And I'm leaning towards yes, but like I said, I don't want it to blow up in my face. So
well, that leads me to my next question, but this isn't about the discount. Do you guys ship internationally the product?
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Is there a specific location? But
yeah, so Mandy's asked that she said that her son is getting married in 2 hours' time, if I'm reading that right, in Australia. And this product sounds perfect for extended families who are unable to be there, and wondered if the product would be postable and portable internationally, well, postable internationally, but so specifically Australia.
Okay. It would be best for her to email us at orders@nphoto.com. I know we are doing things with people in Australia, but just so she can get all the details of how that will work. Because it is a little bit different. I know we do it, but it is a little bit different.
Excellent. So, Mandy, I presume you're not there. If you're there, you're just killing some time before your son's wedding. And if you are, then have a great day. And if not, obviously, I'm sure you'll be watching or something like that. But so we wish them all the best and hope the wedding goes great. Eugene, I think no, they're eloping. Oh, fair play. Again, nice. Okay. I keep saying that I'll do that with my partner, but. We're not sure yet. We'll see. Excellent. Eugene, to be honest, most of it now is thanks and praise. I'm just double checking that I haven't missed any of the questions, but I think we're pretty good. Yeah, no, I've covered all of the questions, my friend. Good night, everybody. Take care. Bye, Eugene. All the best, mate.
Yep, thanks, you too.